Yes. Well, one thing we can do to respect our youth and to create more hope is to not saddle them with debt, as recent General Assemblies and governors have done, so that they're paying for the current budget shortfalls year after year after year, creating a mounting problem. But again, a lot of it does go to education. You know, we can talk about the free market all we want, but the public school system is necessary to give people the opportunities to succeed. Our goal as government has to be to create a society in which every child born into that society has an equal chance to thrive. And that means more equal schools, that means quality schools, that means smaller class sizes, which does require funding, which does go back to the budget. Same thing with job opportunities. I agree with Mr. Cohen, you've got to provide the hope for economic opportunities as well. Question is how you get there. It's not a matter of just holding job fairs and talking to people, it's a matter of the sound public policy that's going to create those kinds of job opportunities. Investing in people, in their education, providing free higher education, 2-year, 4-year, and vocational, restoring a manufacturing base to Illinois, so that, you know, because not everyone is cut out to become college educated necessarily, but you need good jobs that can support a family. It can't be Burger King jobs. We have to do a lot more in that area. My green capital bill will move us in that direction.
Thank you. Starting with you, Mr. Whitney, and for the
Can I have a rebuttal on that?
Sure, yes you can.
I want to make it clear that my attitude towards education is the same as it is towards government in general. I agree we need to stress education for our youth. However, when you have a strong, top-heavy state Board of Education, then we have the same corrupt politics that's in charge of our schools. Again, we need to streamline the state government and empower the local communities, which is where the values come from.
Do you have a rebuttal, Mr. Cohen?
I do. You know, in regards to what Rich had just said, I agree with him that we have got to teach our children not just academic skills in school. But the city of Chicago has a 47% dropout rate because the kids aren't interested in going to school to learn to be doctors and lawyers. So let's implement a policy that teaches them skills to be carpenters, skills to be bricklayers, skills to be plumbers, so that when I bring the businesses back to Illinois, they can get the jobs.
Do you have a rebuttal?
Yes, briefly. I agree with Mr. Green to some extent. I think that administratively our education system is top-heavy. I wouldn't focus on the State Board of Education so much as the proliferation of school districts. That is one problem we have in Illinois, too many local levels of government. But you still have to fund the schools adequately. Thousands of teachers are losing their jobs. How are we going to offer hope to our kids in classrooms where they're teaching 40 kids, you know, in a grade school classroom? You can't do it. You have to have that funding base. We have to lift the floor up.
Mr. Whitney, starting with you. How do you, as candidate for governor, propose to put ex-offenders to work once they've been proven and paid their dues?
Well, we definitely need a much better start on that. We need to have programs that actually start while people are in the prison system to teach them life skills. This is another victim of the budget. Education within the prison system has been cut to the bone, is practically non-existent. How can you expect people to succeed when after they've done their time, all they get is $4 in an Amtrak ticket? Okay. We have to do better than that. We have to have, beginning within the system, then in halfway houses and community settings, giving people a chance to succeed, teaching them life skills they may not have gotten during their time in school with our failing school system, teaching them economic skills. You know, there's a lot of good models out there. In California, they have an organization called the Delancey Street Foundation, something we should emulate here. It's run by ex-offenders. They run 4-class restaurants in the city of Chicago. They run a whole bunch of programs, and it gives people real opportunities. You know, if we want people not to go back in the system, we have to give them opportunities to succeed and the tools with which to succeed. That will be one of my priorities as your next governor.
Mr. Cohen?
I agree with Rich. We have to give them the opportunities to succeed. But what I didn't hear him say, and I hear this every day, is that no matter what is out there for ex-offenders, they have a record. And that record is stopping them from getting jobs. The state has got to find a way, and I, as governor, have got to find a way to either expunge the nonviolent offenders or seal their records so that they can get the jobs. Again, there is opportunity. And when I am governor, I will make sure that there's opportunity. But as long as they have that cloud over their head, that record, opportunity will never come their way. And I know this. I see it every day that I'm out there.
Mr. Green?
I have people working on my staff who work in the DOC, and they can give me a good idea of what's going on in the prisons. I realize that the problem for people who have been convicted is getting jobs when they come out, but a large number of the people in our prisons are either in for nonviolent drug offense or they're gang members. A huge percentage of our population of prison inmates are gang members. Matter of fact, some of my staff can tell you by looking casually which colors they're flying, and when they get out of prison, if all they have to go to is the same culture of violence, then there's not much hope that they're going to be looking at a better job when they get out. What we need to do is we need to, first of all, release the nonviolent drug offenders out of prison. They're crowding the prisons. And we need to also take away the funding of the gangs, which I propose ending the prohibition on marijuana as a way of taking away their main business. This is a problem that's not just in Chicago, but it's in Quincy, it's in Carbondale, it's in Danville, it's all over the state. So in order to solve the problems of what do they do when they get out, we need to solve the problems that are causing them to go in.
Gentlemen, do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, briefly by way of clarification, I appreciate Lex bringing that up. I also support legalization of cannabis. I do believe it is a sound public policy. We waste tremendous resources, over $100 million a year, to prosecute, to apprehend, prosecute people for what is truly a victimless crime. I also want to agree with Scott on the expungement issue. There are laws to expunge nonviolent offenses, but they're very convoluted. You need to hire someone like me, an attorney, to get it done. There should be ways to streamline that system, make it a lot easier.
Gentlemen, this will be the last question. After this question is posed, you may rebut it, and then after that point, you have 2 minutes for closing statements. Last question, Mr. Green. Looking at the property taxes in Illinois, what will you do as governor to decrease the taxes that are assessed on properties, seeing that the property values have fallen so low?
Well, actually, the property values and the taxes upon them are not a state level issue, or at least they shouldn't be. And you should be mad as you can get at your local boards, county boards, for not lowering your taxes. I personally had my property value go down, so they raised the multiplier in order to increase my taxes, which is ridiculous. But it wasn't the state that did it, and it shouldn't be the state that solves that problem. And again, I go back to, if you're a voter and they don't do your bidding, or they injure you by increasing your taxes, vote them out. Let's get some new people in there. Or maybe you don't run for the county board yourself. Again, my position is that taxes are injuring the taxpayer, hurting the economy, and I certainly want to see property taxes go down, but my focus will be on eliminating the luxury taxes, and eventually, if we lower spending enough, I would like to eliminate the income tax in this state, something that the Republicans gave us and increased upon us, and that Democrats now are trying to increase again. So I'll concentrate on what I can solve, And you guys help me out by voting